Wow, what is up my fellow hackers? Today we have a lot to talk about with Bitcoin's price, and exclusively why within the next 24 hours, why similar to last Monday, this Monday is going to be crucial for determining Bitcoin's price and trajectory. We have so much indecision in the last two daily candles for Bitcoin that we really have to delve into. What does that mean? And as well, Bitcoin clearly following this channel that's jumped back into that began all the way back in the summer of 2019. This is absolutely life-altering, mind-mashing stuff that we need to get into on these charts. Very crucial. There are some very interesting indications of what Bitcoin's next move is, but again, I think that we'll see a huge influence tomorrow. So prepare yourself. This video is coming out on Sunday, and by Monday, guys, we expect this to happen. And as well, we have to take a look at this clear pattern of resistance turned support here on Bitcoin's 1 hour chart. Will that maintain, and will there be a bounce here? And if failing, what are our downside targets? The ultimate downside target right now is around 5,400 USD, and we have about 3 or 4 different charts that we can show you, all different time frames, all different exchanges, showing you why that is such a crucial level for Bitcoin to get a bounce. So for all my fellow mainframe hackers out there, let's get into the video. What is going on, everyone? Thanks so much for joining me here for this special update. Guys, we have a lot to talk about with Bitcoin's price, as for the last 2 days, something very interesting has been going on. We've had 2 spinning top daily candles, and what they represent is complete indecisiveness in the market. You can see that here, and we're going to show you what that most likely means, and you can see exactly where they're facing resistance as well. So absolutely crucial there. Complete indecision in the market, as in the meantime, things such as the S&P, the Dow Jones Index, as well as crude oil, all of these have been plummeting, yet Bitcoin is on this upward momentum. But again, guys, tomorrow when the US stock markets open, what impact could that have on Bitcoin? Which way do we expect this baby to bounce? Is it going to be one of those bounces upwards or a negative bounce, a bounce that goes down? So guys, thanks so much for joining me. If you would like to enter to win this ledger to keep your cryptocurrency safe, all you have to do is leave a comment below. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on the dings, and we can start playing with these things. And as well, 45% off this course with everything I know, and is continually being expanded. We have a few more courses going up very soon. Discount code WOW. So guys, thanks so much for joining me here. There's a lot of things that I want to get into in regards to this TA. Some very important stuff that we need to look at. I think for the most part, people are starting to accept again, oh, maybe there is, maybe TA is still valid, because after we had that big drop right here, guys, a lot of people, I got a lot of comments from people that may have even been watching the videos for years, months even, say, man, TA, I just don't know if I can trust it. Well, guys, that's absolutely true. Obviously, when a black swan event does happen, TA does get thrown out the window. But again, we have been putting in structure. We have been below this area of craziness for about 10 days now, and we've formed structure within that 10 days. And we've actually shown you guys repeatedly on the channel why and where the structure is. So let's actually start off here. So what we have here is the two spinning tops that we mentioned just about a minute ago. Right here, spinning top basically is when the candle is in the center and you have 2 really long wicks, and basically all that means is that it's very indecisive. You see wild price swings both directions, but overall the candle itself closes right in the center, and we see that for 2 days in a row. This day was more volatile than this day, but you can see they're both basically right in the center, right around that $6,200 range. Okay, very obvious there. That was 48 hours. And now we have, again, it seems like we're getting a rejection right here on the top of this heart line channel here within this descending channel. It goes all the way back to the summer, okay, of 2019. This is very important here because, again, this started obeying this structure again, basically once it found a bounce at the bottom of this channel here. It started really playing into this downward channel yet again. Okay, so even though this pattern is something we had on here for months and months, and then once we broke out of it, we weren't using it. But then as soon as we came back to these levels, it seems to be obeying these levels yet again. So I find that very interesting that once you have a pattern that seems to have ended, right, because we break out of it, it seems to have ended, it comes back into those levels and then all of a sudden starts respecting these same lines. It's absolutely wild to me. I find that very interesting. In fact, this is the one we were using back then. And if we extend these lines out, it's the same exact thing. I just have it on this chart here because we're using this daily chart for something else here. Now, what's most interesting, okay, tomorrow I think is going to be a big day because of the stock market open. And again, there's even talks of the stock market being halted. Okay, that is huge. that would be ridiculous. What impact would that have on Bitcoin? We wouldn't know because it's never, ever, ever, ever happened before. Will people all of a sudden start taking money and start trading more into Bitcoin and increase, make a huge volume increase in Bitcoin? Maybe. I honestly don't even know what could happen because, again, that has never happened in the history of Bitcoin before. But one thing we do want to point out here, guys, is if there is a downside target, we'll show you it here. If Bitcoin, you see it consolidating here for the past 4 days within this top channel. If Bitcoin is able to break and it is going to go down, this area most likely will be support right here. It's the $5,400 range. It's right where Bitcoin consolidated for about 5 days before breaking out to currently like that $7,000 level. You can see right here, there's the massive amount of volume index here on the VPVR. And then if we switch to this chart as well, you can see that same thing here. This is more zoomed out, so you can get a different representation of the VPVR. But again, right here, absolutely massive. And again, this was the top where we found resistance. Guys, this area kind of just fluctuated between this area for the past few days because, again, you can see on the side here, not a lot going on. Okay, it has free range to kind of go up and down pretty easily in those levels. These levels that I have circled are a little bit harder because there's a lot more action at those levels. And ultimately, if we zoom out to the weekly chart, look at this 5,400. You can see not only is that right exactly where the 200 week moving average is, it's where the 0.786 on the Fibonacci from the highs of this move to the lows of this entire market so far of this bull run and bear market, the $3,100 level and the 14,000 right here. These are the two most recent swings there. And so the 786 right here. So that's very important there. We did get a bounce here initially. If we would come back down, we would most likely want to find support and find a bounce there again. Okay, we got rejected at the golden pocket right here. So that's right around that 7,000. So if I zoom in, basically what happened, I can illustrate this for you. Massive drop. And then we get it pulled back to the 200, open up the next weekly candle, looks pretty good. Get a nice bounce all the way to 7,000. All the way to 7,000 here, and then push back down to here currently. Now we're really waiting to see this next move. If, again, we would get pushed down, we would hopefully find a lot of support here in the 200 week moving average and as well, right exactly that 0.786. So that is the absolute key area, and that also lines up perfectly with the VPVR support right here. That has to be huge. So the $5,400 level right now is supposed to be, it has everything statistically and technically looking on these charts, everything going for it. And like we've been saying, the $7,000 level is where the party really gets started in terms of the resistance, okay? And we can show you a little bit why about that. You can see right here, we can start with the VPVR. You can see the first massive amount since all the way down here, besides that, is up here at 7,000. This was where the inverse head and shoulder was formed there. If we actually zoom out, you can see that the $7,000 level played a key role amongst this giant descending triangle of 2018. But guys, where we also are currently is the very bottom of, as our price action is right now, about the 6,000 US dollar level, is the very bottom of the 2018 descending triangle that basically went on for 11 months. 11 entire months. So this is, again, is a very big friction zone right here. It makes sense that we're still trading there. It makes sense that we're finding a lot of resistance there. Actually surprised that we actually did get all the way up to 7,000, but then got pushed back down again. But on the downside, we already talked about the 54. 54 is kind of like the downside target. If we want to look at an upside target, 7,000 by far, like we just mentioned there, is just super critical, very important. And past the 7,000, as we approach it, we see an even bigger level of resistance, okay? And that's going to be right here. This level, the golden pocket of, this is a different Fibonacci retracement. This is from the very top of our latest bull market of 20,000 to the very top of the previous bull market of about 1,000. Okay, we take the swings from there and there, and we do the Fibonacci that way. This is huge. So again, we have the 786 basically right here on the 200 where we got the bounce, but then the golden pocket is up here at this $8,000 level. So again, this will be, 7,000 is pretty crazy in terms of getting above that, but 8,000 is going to be much harder. So you can even see it here on the VPVR. It's kind of showing us the same thing. 7,000 right here, decent amount of volume. Then you see the 8,000 though, much higher than that. 8,000 has much more than that. When we zoom back out to this chart, 8,000 is really the big dog that if we get some bullish momentum going forward, this is where a lot of the resistance is going to be. 8,000 will be difficult, I personally think, in breaking above. But again, if we get bullish momentum, it could take a week or two of bullish momentum and we could easily break above that. But again, that's really such a high friction zone. It's where the top of this inverse head and shoulders formed as well. And you can see here on this downtrend, after it failed to hold within this golden pocket level of the 8,000, that's when 8,000 failed. 8,000 went all the way down to 3,900. So when 8,000 failed, the price of Bitcoin decreased by half. 50% of Bitcoin's price slashed in a matter of hours. Actually, might have been like 1 hour. It was absolutely insane. If we actually take a look at that, yeah, we can take a look at that here. So this is right around 8,000, and then this is an hourly chart. So literally within hours, look at this. This was all within 1 day, basically. 8,000 all the way down to 3,800. Absolutely massive. So the 8,000 is probably one of the biggest supports on this entire chart. And again, the 8,000 on this chart is right about here. But again, this is the more important chart. These swings going back years, all the way to 2014, 8,000 is very, very important there. Now that we have this high in, now that we have some lows in and we have some structure to it, yeah, 8,000 is huge. Now with stock markets hopefully opening up tomorrow, right? I mean, that's the plan. That's how it's always gone. As long as that happens, we really have to pay attention to see how these markets react. However, again, it seems like Bitcoin's been decoupling over the last few days, so that's interesting to note as well. But what do you guys think? If that would actually happen, if they would halt the stock market, the U.S. stock market, how do you think Bitcoin would be affected? Do you think that people would maybe pull out their money or just start actively using more of their cryptocurrency holdings to trade to gain for profit in this trying time? Or do you think people will just, if the stock market halts, maybe everyone will pull something out of Bitcoin as well? I feel like that might be less likely, because why would you pull all of your investments if the stock market halts? Again, a lot up for interpretation there, but I really would love to see what you guys see. And then the last thing I want to do is actually pull out the 1 hour chart, and you can see here the $6,000 level has been key since that drop on March 12th. Okay, it initially provided support, and then it fell through that, found resistance. Now look, same thing. When we broke through it, came down for support, came down for support, came down for support, and then came down for support again right at that $6,000 level, and that's where we currently are. So if we get a bounce out of here, guys, 7,000 is the target, and if we fall below, 54 is most likely going to be the target, and you see this horizontal resistance here. But again, most of the support, horizontal support, and most of the support for 5,400 actually is important on bigger time frames. This is the hourly, but on these bigger time frames is where 54 really comes into play. Okay, right about here is where the 54 is, and most importantly on the weekly chart, here, the 54. So wow, absolutely insane. What do you guys think tomorrow will bring? Tomorrow is going to no doubt bring some things that might make people a little crazy. There's going to be anxiety. There's going to be joy. Dreams will be crushed, and dreams will be changed forever. So guys, let me know what you think about that in the comments below, and I will see you in the next Hackersode.